I know.
Diana got coming and she said, when I do the yoga, my body starts hitting, so I can't come because it's telling me I hurt, don't come.
Oh no.
You know, I was thinking, you know, if you would come and keep doing it, it would probably stop hurting.
Well, this is the deal. An older body, okay, and I've noticed this myself. When I was in my 40s and I was doing yoga, I didn't hurt. I could take all of the pain and I didn't hurt. And oh, come on. Go to me. They've changed it again. Live.
I think sometimes when we start exercising and we haven't, it doesn't hurt.
It does.
But if we can do it gently and continue to do it, then it will get better.
Well, and
but if we think if it hurts and I don't do it, rather than if it hurts, that must mean my muscle is weak and needs to be strengthened.
yeah. Well, and the other thing that does happen is that oh, please, I don't know if I want to do hair. It's not. Yeah, see, it's just discard. Changed Instagram again. Okay, so our bodies, because of the age, there is the work we do tightens. It just tightens, and it doesn't matter what we do. Well, in the way that because we move and strengthen our muscle, it doesn't matter anymore that we are that we're doing. We just have to continually do. When you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, yeah, you have to get stronger. There's no question. But you can miss a day or two. We miss a day or two, and
yes, we lost a lot.
We hurt.
Yeah.
And so, anyway.
A good example is the treaties that she has been in her deck, but I have one of my rifles, so we match.
Yeah.
But she said after the first move, she thought, I'm gonna have to stop. She decided to go a little farther and it stopped.
Yes.
And by the end, she said, it's not.
But if she goes home and just sits, it'll just, because we work those muscles, they tighten right back up. I have a lot, and it'll be interesting to see because there are a lot of yogis that go way deep. They get deeper and deeper and deeper into the poses, the flexibility, right? But as you get into your 40s, it starts to become a place where, oh, well, I have to do it now. I have to keep going at this deep. And then you get in your 50s and you're like, oh, it hurts to go that deep. And then in your 60s, it's like, I don't think it's very wise for me to go this deep, right? But I have to keep moving. And so that's why with this class, we really just create movement. And the body, there is optimal movement. There is movement that is the best for everybody's legs, the best for everybody's shoulders, But then we take our bodies that are not the same, right? And we have to learn to adapt and listen. And yoga was never intended to be how deep you could get into a pose. It really was, am I listening to what my body needs today? So I love when I teach a gentle class and into the class come these yogis they are strong, they are very flexible, they do all these hard poses, and they're like, oh, my body just needs a rest. And so that's what we try to teach is, and honestly, if you have never had anybody train you to pay attention and you haven't paid attention, then you won't, right? So going that extra loop was her kind of going, maybe it just takes longer. It takes longer to warm it up. So find a place on those feet. Pause for just a moment. Find one spot that's maybe a little tender. And just pause, close your eyes. Feel the sensation. It might be like, I don't know, for me, I'll find a place that is maybe tender. Tender is, it's just like, oh, okay, that's not just, because when I do this over here, sometimes it's like, okay, I can feel the movement, I can feel the ball, but there isn't a pain, there isn't not a pain, it feels good. But then you go into a place and it's kind of like, oh, that's a little tender, that's a little sensitive, right? And we pause there and we breathe and maybe we stretch through our toes and curl through our toes and notice our foot, and maybe there's a little bit of just a rolling, it's the tiniest little back and forth, finding that sensation, right? Finding and just kind of, and then all of a sudden you kind of go, oh, it's not as sensational as it was. And we recognize that, and we can do that throughout our body. And that really is what yoga is all about.
I used to have foot cramps every time I extended my foot.
The toes like this.
Every time, even in bed.
Uh-huh.
And I would stretch it and I told this would stop.
Yeah.
It's been years and years.
What's crazy is really for decades, for us, for as long as we've done weightlifting and that kind of a thing, the understanding of tight muscle has been, it's muscle. And then, maybe a decade and a half to 2 decades ago, it was like, well, there's this fascia that surrounds all the muscles. And we think it's the fascia that's adhering, that's causing tightness, right? And this is fascia work. Yoga is fascia work. Holding things, moving in and out gently is fascia work, okay? Yes, we work our muscles too. So make sure you get both feet. If you've already done the second foot, you can keep going. There's nothing that says you have to be done, right? So you find the places, and that's what we do. Notice in yoga, notice that I look for the places that are like, oh, and then we kind of design, because our hip sockets, if you think this on the feet is sensitive, right? Our hip sockets, we've got this femur, it's up into the hip socket, but all of the muscles, the quads, these are adductors, the abductors, the hamstrings, all of those muscles come up and come through, right? And all of these muscles that are here, they go down and they come and attach. And so our hips, they are the repository of wonderful things. They just really are. So find a place on your other foot, maybe pause. Breathe. Maybe there's just some little gentle movement over that sensitive place. And maybe it's just really a commitment to yourself that, you know what, I could do this every day. And for me, it really used to be that I could do 10 minutes a day, and it's not anymore, okay? It has to be more. And then you still might have some injuries, some overuse injuries, because when we don't hurt, we just go and go. This is just, and so this is really, it's my, if I would sit down to watch TV, I'm not just watching TV. Sit down to watch a movie. Okay, let's move the ball out. Let's start with, grab a block and have it handy, but let's just come to the edge of your chair so you're not sitting back against comfortable. Close your eyes and just breathe. Be okay with an inhale and an exhale. Be okay with the fact that you might not be doing anything right now. Take big, just deep inhales. And just slow, relaxing exhales. Letting the breath flow. You can definitely feel the chest rise and fall.
Awareness of the tightening stomach when you exhale. It's really made a difference for me.
Has it? So Michelle's saying that the tightening of the abs is, yeah, it's like, who would have thought, right? And yet, one of the things that does is with the low back, it's huge. Holding the organs in, it's huge. And making that be just a part of kind of every, and making it habit, and then you kind of have to focus on it, right? You have to do it, you have to remember, and then pretty soon you'll find yourself doing it regardless. And then your back, it's just healthier. Your abs and your core are stronger. So great observation. Sitting here, we're going to wander through the body. So let's start with our head. Go ahead, and you don't have to sit still. You can just gently start to move the neck side to side. So I thought today we could do this really great evaluation of how do I feel. So with the head, and some people go, this is moving so slow, Deb. I understand, but finding that movement, is there a place that's tight? If there is, pause. Let your focus, right, that third eye focus, go right to that spot, and then move the shoulder in different ways with that spot being the center. Find where there is, there's a stretch that feels good. Stay for a moment, breathe for a moment, and then maybe you move a little bit more, finding another spot. Really paying attention to that. Oh, there's another spot. Breathe, pause, pull other body parts away from it. Maybe there's just a little bit of movement. Maybe it's the shoulder lifting up and down, forward and back. And then come back. Tuck your chin. Find on the tuck. Pull your shoulder blades towards your hips while you tuck your chin, and notice that you get that muscle that goes between the shoulder blades, the wrong blades. Pull your shoulders a little forward, rounding back. Chin is still tucked. Breathe. And then slowly just come in and out of that movement. So we are moving shoulders, okay? The chin is staying tucked, but we're finding a pull back. And then we come up and we pause and we notice. What does that feel like after I've moved? Go ahead and take the chin, look over that right shoulder. Take this left hand, pull down, just get it deeper, okay? It's gonna pull you away from the chin going down. It's okay. You're just pulling. Notice we're not using force. We're just using the body. Now take the shoulder back and forward and back and forward, breathing. And then pause, come all the way back and notice. There is a heat, there's a warmth, there might be a little tingle. Go ahead and look over the other shoulder. Take the opposite arm and drop it, pull in resistance. We get so hung up on the fact that this isn't very intense, right? But we feel that movement. Maybe you take this arm and you walk it down the chair a little bit more and then just pull away from that. Taking some breaths and then coming back to center. And notice, ooh, there's a yumminess that starts to happen. Go ahead and roll through your shoulders. Go ahead and blink open the eyes for just a minute. So this paying attention, okay? Being okay with how small the movement might be, okay? Go ahead and reverse that with those shoulders. We're gonna do one more time of tucking the chin here, round the shoulders forward, try to pull the shoulder blades back on the back. You're pulling them forward, so we're working the back of the body with the chin tucked and the shoulders pulling back. You'll feel a strain. You might even feel it clear up into the sides of your neck. And then release, sit up, okay? Do just the opposite. This time, pull the shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades together, hold on to your chair, bend the elbows slightly because then you won't hurt a shoulder. And really reach for the chest going forward. The chin can lift up. We're not doing this, but it's just lifting up. So you're reaching. The heart up through here is reaching forward. Bend through the elbows. Reach that forward. Stretch that forward. Shoulder blades pull together. Take some breaths. Notice that it's a little harder maybe to breathe. And then release and notice the front side of the body. So we're just going to slowly work our way through the body. Go ahead and do a little bit of head bobbing, head moving. Okay, I still feel a little right here on this sides of the neck. So take it over. It's a 45-degree angle. Drop the chin. The shoulder back here has to go back. We've got to pull that same thing we just did, and then we're going to try to walk the hand down the chair while we tuck the chin away from it. Breathe, inhale, exhale. Maybe move the chin just a little side to side. Ooh, you might find a tight little place, and then release, come back to center, and notice. Now, I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like this side feels great, but this side, right? So go to the 45, tuck the chin, hand to the chair, pull, shoulders on the back, bend the elbow, okay? And then you might just move this arm down, pulling away. So you're just using the body to gently go ahead and let the chin move a little side to side. Keep it a little slight bend in the elbow, don't block it out. And then release, come back to center. And then do this, and it's like, oh, that doesn't bother me anymore. So, are there any other places in the neck? I'm feeling a little bit here, okay? That neck, I want you to think about it. There's the vertebrae stacked on top of the spine, right? And it's like This does all of this. How wide? Do you get to a side and kind of go, oh, stop? Or can you have quite a bit of range of motion? Go ahead and take the ear towards the shoulder. I feel this one, okay? We've done this one before. The arms coming out to the side. Go ahead and flex your palm and try to push the palm to the floor. And then push the head back the other direction. And then slight little movement with the chin. Breathing. And come in and release. Now just do, notice. Go ahead into the other side. Ear coming to shoulder. Hand here. Now some might say, oh, it'd be so much faster to just grab and pull. Oh, you can also create pain. Go ahead and bend the elbow. This is pulling all the way back, right? And just find that stretch. Reaching down, flex the hand, trying to touch the floor. Breathe. Little movements with the chin. And come back up. Yeah. Go ahead and circle gently the neck. And then come to where it's just right overhead. Shoulders, biggest roll you can get. Up and down. So the other thing that I love about the body, another thing, not the other thing, okay, is this idea of movement and the fact of connection. So we've done our neck, but we don't need our shoulders and our arms to be able to get our neck. Go big and up and back and down and forward and up and back and down and forward and up and back and down, and then reverse back, up as high, forward and down and back and up and forward and down and back. Hold the back for just a moment. Squeeze it together. Go ahead and palms face up, elbows are bent. Try to pull elbows together as well as shoulder blades. Palms will face up, thumbs will kind of do like hitchhiking thumbs. Open through the heart, reach. Now, notice that as you do this, you might feel a little low back. I also feel here. I'd like you to take these ribs and feel like a window shade or a blind is pulling down towards the hips, down towards the lap. Pull down. Notice that you're going back tends to spread them. This is the opposing muscle. Keep the hands here. Pull down with that. Pull down with that. Opening up but pulling down with that, and then release. And notice here. Yeah, okay. The back, okay. Hands here, curl it around. Come down, okay. Pull back with the spine. Use your hands to push down into the thighs. Push the hands forward, pull back. I'll come to the side so that you can see this, okay. You're pulling back, you're rounding, okay. The shoulders are rolling forward, so the shoulders, none of the muscles in between the shoulder blades are working. They are lengthening, they're extending. Pull back, use your hands, okay. Go ahead and grab the front of your chair with your hands, okay, in between your thighs. Okay, so it would look like this. Okay, pull through the hands, now pull back into the body. Come up to your heels. You may need to do that, or onto your toes. Sorry, lifting the heels. Push down and forward with the feet. Oh, yeah. Tucking the chin, rounding through, using the hands, not using the shoulders. And then come back up and notice the low back. So that's a fabulous stretch on that low back. Go ahead and just move forward and back. Forward and back. So when I give myself permission, go down again, hold here, round. Use your feet, come up, your feet are pushing forward, okay? When we do this, Newton's law says something has to move. It's not our hands, it's gonna be that low back. tuck the chin, round as much as you can. Now, find a little bit of a shift, kind of in your shoulders, in your waistline. It will get into that rib, into those spine, and then release. Hands on the thighs, come back up to that seat, and just notice that. Let yourself do this. Go ahead, hands are coming back. See if you can get the elbows behind the chair, okay? Okay, this, I have a little bit of a strain here, so you're gonna kind of try to pull up and back, okay? Holding on to the back of the chair. Yeah, don't pull too hard. Oh, that's right, he's got right here.
Yeah, that's the.
Yeah. So bend your elbows. If you bend your elbows, you'll take a little bit out of that, okay? Hands are pushing into the chair. Just open, just open. This is not intense, but you can pull the shoulders together, you can pull the elbows together gently. Breathe. Now, with that in place, tuck your chin. And then lift the chin. And tuck the chin. And release. Come back in, okay? Now, the thing with the spine, that feels pretty good, but can you feel how right here, these muscles that want us to twist, they're not. So come back to the edge of your chair. Go ahead. That's take a block in between the thighs. That helps keep our legs. Hands coming here. This is here, shoulder up and around, and then just hold. See if you can get the belly to pull in, and then this rib cage, instead of using shoulders, we are anchoring ourselves so that we are in a twist. Use this ribs pulling that way, these ribs pulling behind to just wind. The shoulders and hands help, but I'm really trying to do the movement with the rib cage. And then would you do just a little bit of wiggle side to side there in that rib cage? Come all the way back. Notice. Yeah. Is that pulling too hard on that at all? Okay. Oh, it just, go ahead and come back to the other side. Hand here. Shoulder is just up and around, right? So that's just anchoring us. Yes, that creates a twist. But now I'm going to take this rib cage and try to move it back while this one tries to move forward. Squeeze the block will help because we're isolating our legs. It will help the rib cage just twist. Hold, breathing, and then a little bit of just movement. Maybe it's a cat-cow. Maybe it's a kind of side to side. Breathe. Can you pull in the belly? Can you lengthen up a little taller? Can you keep breathing? And then gently release. And notice that. Okay? Let's do the first side again. Hand here, shoulder up and around. Okay, so we've got our anchors. Now we're going to just try to move the ribs. Just the ribs. Pull back on the belly. Lengthen up top. Some may feel, yeah, this isn't a very good workout today. This is a real observation class. Take another deep breath. Go ahead and for just a moment, shake side to side in this twist. And then would you round, curl it, and come out. And round, curl it. Do you realize what the spine is doing to allow this movement? And then gently back to center. A little bit of cat-cow here. Okay, you can notice, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to feel more at ease. That's what I really notice the most. Come here. This shoulder rolls up and on the back. I'm holding, I'm anchored. Now I'm going to try to twist the rib cage. These moving forward, these pulling back. Yes, my hands are anchored, but I'm not really using my hands. points for this movement. Lengthen up tall, pull the belly in, and you do a little bit of the shake here. And then round it forward and over. Stay in the twist, working through, letting the spine do what it was created to do. One more, inhale up and exhale, release. Pretty nicely done. Go ahead and you can leave the block there, but you need to move back on your chair. I want you to reach in between the block, grab your chair again. That might be awkward if you've got short legs, okay? But pull back again. Grab that chair, tuck your chin, pull back, but squeeze the legs. When you squeeze the legs, lift the heels, push the toes down and forward. When you squeeze the legs, you actually feel more down into the sacrum. Down in between the hips, gets a little deeper of a stretch. And then gently come back to the edge of your chair. How does the spine feel? Yeah. So when you do this with this, it takes it from feeling it here to really feeling it here. And the reason it is because this is taking our thighs, narrowing, which because this bone is one bone, when I squeeze in, this actually has room to move out. And when that moves out, it stretches the low back. So this is one of the very best for low backs, okay? So try it again. Notice you can stay right here and you get a pretty good stretch. The minute I lift my heels and push forward with my toes, I get a deeper, much deeper stretch. Tucking the chin, breathing, and releasing. So be okay with moving like that, right? We don't want our spine to be like this, but that is the stretch. We go into the stretch, okay? So we've really done quite a bit here. We haven't done our shoulders a ton. We haven't done really our arms. So keep the block. Go ahead and just turn the palms. Just find your rotation. The shoulders are also. Is there a place that's like, oh, that's a little tight? If there is, stay there, okay? In fact, take the thumbs down. We'll find all of these places. Totally take the hands behind you. Now, as you do this, the shoulders are rolling forward, okay? Is this one okay to do? Okay. Yeah, be gentle. Even the arms down a little lower. If you'll bring, other than guilt, bring your pinky up a little, okay? Find that forward rotation. And then just find some little circles in the shoulder. Tuck your chin. Find those little circles. And then go ahead and slowly undo the fingers. They're going to come so you're facing the floor. You're still rolling through the shoulders. Now the thumbs are facing up. Notice what your shoulders do. Now the palms are facing up. And I don't know about you, but I feel that working, that back. Okay, those back muscles. And then release and roll through them, okay? That's where I hold my tension, okay, in that. When I take and do this, pull the elbows in and open, it's like it gives that tension. I'm still working, but I'm working the underside instead of the upper side of that latissimus dorsi muscle. That's our back. That's this muscle that is so strong. Okay, pull back, go ahead and just roll back and hold back. Tuck your chin, stretching again. Notice that stretches right across there. This is what, so we've worked it and now we stretch it. Notice we're going through this pattern throughout the body and release. I don't know about you, but that's some of the best work.
My muscle snaps across.
It's not your muscle, it's a nerve. And you just have something that's in there. I have one in my hip that does that. Doesn't matter what I do. And it's just because each muscle has its own nerve. Or it's the tendon where the nerve attaches, or where the muscle attaches, not the nerve, that's just kind of going.
Doesn't feel like
Doesn't feel like nerve pain. So it doesn't hurt, you just feel it.
no, it just snaps.
Yeah, we have all these little, on the bones, there's all these, they call them condyles, epicondyles, protrusions, where the tendons can attach. And none of our bones are exactly the same. We don't have that, right? They're all so different. So there could be something there. So, yeah. Does it hurt?
No.
I have an old injury. It's like 20 plus years old, where I slipped on the ice and just landed here. And all of this, you can see this collarbone was like here, everything had shifted. Nothing broke, but we moved it back, but I have never had the full, I notice it when I do chaturangas, that it's just, and I've had work on it, and it just is what it is. Okay, let's do hips. Notice when we do hips, we can just do this, okay? The problem with just this is it's moving the range of motion just side to side. When we add a block and come up, we've now created more space. So take the block out to the side, the foot's out. You're just gonna move, we're gonna start by just moving that knee forward and back. Okay, this foot is just holding still. We're trying to isolate in the hip. Okay, go ahead and let your foot be on there. Try to let the arch of the foot be on the edge of the block so that the heel can drop. Okay, because you're going to drop that heel and lift up out of that. Okay, that changes that, and then move side to side. So we've rotated the pelvis, and then we're just still doing that side to side movement. Now, tuck your tailbone, come back, and side to side movement. There are different things that are happening when we do that. Go ahead and come up on the toes, come back in, come up as high as you can. You're gonna notice it. Yeah, it's a little different. Come side to side. Now, when we do these, you are accessing that, but here we can actually access it without engaging the muscle. Doesn't make one better, it's just different. We want to use the muscle, okay? In fact, I've really been thinking how we can strengthen our quads and our hamstrings in this class. We'll start that in July. I felt like that was a great summer project. So we'll start it next week. Go ahead and hold it out. Come up on as high as you can on the toes. Yeah. Move your block back towards you just a tiny bit. Yeah, and then I think you might be able to get that heel a little higher. Whoa. Yeah, there you go. Okay, push into the ball of the foot, pulling the heel. You're gonna feel along the, hopefully the shin, a little bit of a stretch, yes. Okay, pull the knee wide as you can. Let this one go with it. You're just seeing where you can go, and then just the tiniest little movement of just this one. You might get a cramp in the outside of the hip. If you do, come back in. Now, come back in anyway. Turn the toes slightly. The heel's gonna go out. Let the knee all come. Notice we're keeping the knee and the toe direction kind of the same, okay? This one, we don't want to do a ton of movement, but you can do just the tiny little pulse. You'll get right up into the outside of this hip, okay? You get a cramp, move it out, yep. When we've had surgery, those muscles, they're just weaker. They just really have. So go ahead and hold this without pushing with your hands. I'd like you to feel just a little bit of weight on this hip, moving it down. And then release and come back and hold. Notice how good that feels. You've created that space. Take this foot, cross it over, okay? Sit it up tall. Again, we're out into this outer hip. Flex the foot. Flex it a lot. How flexed can you flex it? Reach the heel that way. So wherever the heel is, reach it longer. Pull the toes more up. You'll get even deeper into that hip. And then you're just gonna do a little forward. Oh yeah.
This is mine.
Yeah, that's the one. So is it like sharp pain at all?
No.
It's just
It's
like,
just tight.
oh, wow.
This is mine.
Okay, so we're gonna actually add on, I don't think we've ever done this in the class with, go ahead and hold it forward and then just flop the knee. Okay, that's IT band, that's outside of the leg, but notice I'll start it and then pretty soon I feel it ease. It's just amazing. Go ahead and hold this still, bring the body back up. Would you take one hand onto this, so same hand as leg, crosses, this one's going here, pull the shoulder and revolve, come into that twist. Now, the heel is still pulling that way, but the knee is now going the opposite. So it's like you're like, I can't get that leg longer, I know, but we're just trying. So you're finding that range of motion. Move the ribs. Go ahead and start just a gentle little wiggle with that knee again. This is one of the things that just helps release the hips. Come back to center. Go ahead and just take this leg up. Would you hold on to it underneath here and just find range of motion. Okay, reverse that circle.
I can feel that better than when I started already.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Okay, while you're holding this up, and if you want to work the quad, you can hold it up this way. Okay, roll through that ankle. Both directions. And then flex and point. And then you just bend it straight in the knee. This is the only movement we want our knee to have. We don't want our knee to do all the other stuff. It's a hinge joint. Notice that you start to feel the thigh, start to feel the muscles get stronger, let it burn a little bit, and then go ahead and tuck it under. We've done this before. Push the toes, okay? Just push. Find it on the front of the foot, yes, on the front of the thing. Try and not do the sickle. Try to get the foot going flat. Yeah, sometimes you just have to look at it. Is it? I don't know. And then go ahead, you're gonna grab, see if you can wrap around, lean back, pull the foot further. I know we're okay on knees here. Pull the knee towards the floor. Do you get a stretch on the quad? Right here, okay. And then release and come back out. So people tell me, okay, well, how do you do that in a chair? That's what we just did. Doesn't that feel like 100% better? Christy's like, maybe not 100%.
Feel it more.
I'm gonna feel it more. Take it out to the side, second side. Come up, okay? Make sure that the foot, the arch is in the middle, the heel is down, okay? This is my sore one, so this is one I have to do twice, okay? But if I do this, then I can do almost anything I want. I'm gonna do it, right? The heel pushes down, you're just gonna find just that little wobble. So is your left hip worse than your right? Your right hip's worse? Okay.
I don't know how I got opposite here.
That's okay. Do you know, I've noticed that you're like in your brain, she's on her left leg. And brains do that, okay? It's a huge thing yoga-wise teaching where we learn to mirror. So, and for some it's way easy and for others it's really hard. And then just go ahead and pull that knee wide. Take this foot and you're gonna have more range of motion because that one's, yeah. So you're not letting the knee, You're still pulling the knee wide so your foot has to, we're just not letting, we're keeping that there. And then this is the wobble. Why? Hold it, breathe, lengthen through the body. And then tuck and up. Go ahead and tuck and hold and wobble. That one that's more intense on my hip. The tuck of the tailbone than not. Lengthen up, find that stretch, find that reach, lengthen. This is going that way, right? Go ahead and lift. Oh yeah. Up on that toe. If you need to, if you get a cramp, you come in, you come out, you come back in, you reach it up, you find that. A little bit of a wobble. Pull wide with the knee, lengthen up with the body, tuck and untuck. Finding that give and take. Breathing the sensation, excuse me, while I come out and back in. And then go ahead and not so much up on your toes, but move your foot in, find this movement. Match the knee and the toes, so you've got to have a little bit of a turn in, okay? And then there's just a little bit of a pulse. Pull down, just feel the weight on that leg. It's this one on the block. Just finding, getting into the hip, the outside of the hip. Go ahead and come back up, stretch, okay? Wiggle, wobble a little bit more. One more time of up and curl and stretch. Feel that length, go that way. And then gently bring it, cross it over. Flexing that foot, reach the heel, reach the toes. The thing I love about this, we do standing pigeon this way, where it's a balance, but you always see one hip drop, and it's this one. When we're on the chair and on the blanket, we can't drop a hip, which is wonderful for this, okay? Go ahead and find that reach going that way, this going this way, and you're just gonna find a little bit of movement. Up and down. Not ever pushing, just going to your range of motion, okay? And then let's take I lied. Let's come forward, here we go, yeah. A little bit of a hinge, a little bit of a movement here. That gets back into the glute, to the outside of the hip. Breathing, evaluating. Come back up. Take that twist. Hand here, shoulder on the back. Revolve it, and then you're trying to reach the knee that way, the heel this way, while you're stretching. Breathing, opening. Notice that actually, you feel this knee get a little lower, okay? But you're not pushing it lower, right? We're just, where is the body? Breathe. Go ahead and round, and up, and around, and up. Come back to center. Release. Wiggle through, go ahead, use your hands underneath, find range of motion. And again, if you want, you can totally. So one of the things for my hip that I have found, I have to stretch the quad. And I probably do it 10 times a day. Really intense stretch. Okay, go ahead and hold it up, do the ankle.
So you do your stretch at quad.
That would hold back,
Pull back.
but I do it like I'm on the floor with that underneath me. I can show you a couple. In fact, we'll do one after this, because for whatever reason, this quad, has to do so much of the work, But when I lengthen, it also will lengthen the psoas, and it makes a difference. Go ahead and straighten that. Coming in to that ankle, that foot, getting that range of motion. You can let this happen so that you can feel the quad working, and then release. Tuck it under. So you can go all the way. If your knee is okay, you can go all the way here, anchor that foot, and then pull back. You'll get even more. You're dropping the knee towards the floor, you're pulling back. Okay, so not only am I stretching this muscle, but the psoas that's up in the spine that comes down to here, I'm stretching that muscle. Both of those need it. Yeah, you can feel it through here.
Yeah.
You can feel that. We just need that to happen. And then go ahead and release, come back up. So, Michelle, how are your knees? Can you get down like this?
Yeah.
Can you do that? So I do it this way. I take one foot, I get down like this, and I lean back. So I come way down. And that, I do this in bed before I get out of bed in the morning. I'll do it throughout the day. You can do it, if getting down is difficult, you can do that when standing up. Go ahead and all of you come stand up and just grab your foot and pull. I don't feel it hardly at all here, but if I'm standing and walking in the store, okay, I'll hold on to a wall and I'll pull.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do both sides. And I will reach the knee towards the floor. The foot is, I'm pulling towards the glute, but at the same time, I'm pushing the foot away. So there's a lot going on here. And then the more you lift your body up, the more you'll get that psoas working. Yeah. So I make sure, I have not even mentioned that to you, and I'm sorry about that. That I have to do all the time, but it makes such a difference in how my hip feels and how we can move. We've got just a few more minutes. We'll have a seated Shavasana today, but go ahead and come. We've really warmed up, but just stretch. Okay, just lengthen. Don't be in a hurry, bend those knees, reach those sit bones, find the length in the spine. Breathe to the sensation. You can bend those knees and kind of do a little pulse with the knees so you're kind of like on that springboard that we've talked about before. Pulling back, reaching through, finding that give, finding that stretch. You can feel it in your shoulders. Go ahead and come up, walk up, roll through stuff, come back, again, breathe. This has kind of been a class where we've just paid attention to different things and just open them up. Come back up again. So downward facing dog, this is what it mirrors, right? This mirrors downward facing dog. Reach back, find that stretch. It's one of the best things. This one too does not hurt the wrist so much. Spread through your fingers though, just spread them out long. Reaching them towards the front of the room. Pull your hips back away from that reach. And walk up. Ooh, roll through those shoulders. Go ahead and come back to your seat. So, advanced yoga, we often do a seated Shavasana. Find your spine erect. That's one of the reasons we have the blanket on the chair. Make sure your knees and your ankles are right above each other. You don't want to be here. It's just harder to relax, okay? The body will support itself The spine supports itself when it's used to stacking vertebrae on vertebrae. You can feel the sit bones equally weighted in the chair. The shoulders just gently resting, the neck and the head on top. I remember when I first started doing some of this seated stuff, meditation, not moving, the mid-back to my low back would just start aching. Those muscles weren't used to sitting up straight. So recognize that the body, the beauty, another beauty of it is it's adaptable, but it adapts to what we ask it to do. So how does your body feel? If you never do one of these slow, meditative, movement type experiences, how do you know what hurts, how it feels? Often our pain in our hip comes from something on the other side. A broken ankle. Sometimes the pain in our spine comes because our hips are too tight. So take about 5 breaths. I'm going to be quiet. You don't even have to count breaths. On these last few moments, will you think about the gratitude you feel for this body? Go ahead and just gently move everything as you awaken. How does it feel? Yep, we've spent an hour gently moving body parts. Does it make a difference? I hope so. Your head good. I see your light. I see your divinity and your goodness and your greatness. And I bow to that light. Namaste.
Namaste.
Beautifully done. Beautiful work. So that's kind of a different class. That's not I had a little bit of that in mind, but not all of it. So, but I really think if anything, if we have